A convoy set out to break a siege. It never reached its destination. Mali's separatists strike again, ambush Russian mercenaries and Malian troops in northern Mali. Moscow's grip on the region comes under fresh pressure. And in Mali, the road to Kidal is becoming a killing ground. Tuareg separatists and their jihadist allies have struck again in northern Mali, ambushing a convoy of Russian mercenaries and Malian troops as they push towards a besieged military camp. The attack unfolded on the morning of July 9th near Tabankort, just days after a coordinated offensive by Al-Qaeda-Linked JNIM fighters and the FLA Tuareg separatist group saw them seize the town of Anefis on July 4th, a location seen as key to controlling Kidal, roughly 100 kilometers away.
Our troops engaged in combat this Thursday near Tabankort against the reinforcement force, which is composed 90% of Russian mercenaries and Malian soldiers.
Kidal itself fell to the separatists just over 2 months earlier, an assault that also claimed the life of Mali's defense minister. Despite losing ground in Anefis, Russian paramilitaries from Africa Corps, alongside a handful of Malian soldiers, are still holding out at a military camp in the area. Reinforcements have twice come under fire trying to reach them. An initial convoy from the northern city of Gao was ambushed on July 5th. A second, described as consisting of dozens of vehicles backed by air cover, was hit on July 9th, with fighting reported to be ongoing. A Malian security source confirmed the convoy heading towards Anefis had fallen into a second ambush. Footage circulated by the FLA showed heavy gunfire across open desert terrain, underscoring the scale of the confrontation. Mali has been under military rule since coup in 2020 and 2021, with junta leaders repeatedly promising to restore order in a country gripped by insecurity since 2012. That promise remains largely unfulfilled, with separatist and jihadist forces now controlling growing swaths of the north and inflicting mounting losses on Russian-backed government forces. The latest clashes mark a further blow to Bamako's efforts to reassert control over its northern territories, as Moscow's paramilitary presence in the region comes under increasing pressure. Mali is facing one of its most serious security crises in over a decade, after a wave of coordinated insurgent attacks killed Defense Minister Sadio Kamara and forced Russian-backed forces to withdraw from key positions in the north. Kamara, a central figure in Mali's military leadership and a close ally of Moscow, was killed on April 25th when his residence near the capital Bamako was targeted in an attack attributed to an Al-Qaeda affiliate in West Africa. The killing coincided with a sweeping rebel offensive involving Islamist militants and Tuareg separatists, described by analysts as the largest coordinated assault in Mali in 14 years. The northern city of Kidal, a strategic stronghold, has now fallen back into rebel hands after Malian forces and Russian Africa Corps troops withdrew following intense clashes.
An accord has been reached permitting the Malian army and its Russian Africa Corps allies to leave Camp 2, where they have been holed up since yesterday. The town was now totally under rebel control.
Another statement from the separatist Azawad Liberation Front confirmed the withdrawal.
The Russian Africa Corps troops and the Malian military withdrew from the city after an agreement was reached for their peaceful exit. Kidal is declared free. This operation is being carried out in partnership with the JNIM, which is also committed to defending the people against the military regime in Bamako.
According to media reports, the offensive extended beyond Kidal. Insurgents launched attacks on Bamako's international airport, the Kati military base, and multiple cities, including Gao and Sévaré, targeting military infrastructure, seizing weapons depots, and reportedly downing a Russian helicopter. Malian authorities acknowledged the scale of the attacks, but said the situation was contained.
Armed terrorist groups carried out complex and coordinated attacks targeting certain cities in the country. notably the garrison towns of Kadi, Sevare, Gao, Kidal, and Bamako. These terrorist attacks have unfortunately left 16 wounded, including civilians and military personnel treated by medical facilities, and limited material damage.
Officials acknowledged the scale of the attacks but downplayed their broader impact, emphasizing that casualties remain limited and infrastructure damage is contained. Coulibaly added that Malian forces have regained operational control across all affected zones, crediting the rapid deployment and response of security units.
At present, the situation is fully under control in all the affected localities. His Excellency General of the Army Assimi Goita, President of the Transition, Head of State, Supreme Commander of the Armed Forces, the Transition Government, and the entire Malian people salute the promptness of the commitment of the armed and security forces, as well as their exemplary patriotism and unfailing determination to defend the nation and protect the population.
Russia's embassy in Bamako condemned the attack, warning of broader regional instability.
250 militants attacked Bamako Senu International Airport and the military base located nearby. The Malian armed forces repelled the attack and are currently taking further steps to eliminate the militia that may have been reportedly trained by Western security agencies. Russia is deeply concerned about these developments. This terrorist activity poses a direct threat to the stability of friendly Oscar Mali and could have the most serious consequences for the entire region.
Analysts say the developments represent a major setback for both Mali's junta and Russia's expanding military footprint in the Sahel.
The attacks are a major blow to Russia as the mercenaries had no intelligence about the attacks and were unable to protect major cities. They have unnecessarily worsened the conflict by not distinguishing between civilians and combatants.
The fall of Kidal, the killing of a defense minister, and the mashtab of coordinated insurgent operations signal a sharp deterioration in Mali's security landscape, raising urgent questions about the effectiveness of Russian-backed military strategy and the future of stability across the wider Sahel region.
Civilian death toll in the conflict in Burkina Faso is not known, simply because there is no mechanism to track civilian casualties. There are figures available by Al-Qaeda, for example, which show that up to 10,600 civilians have been killed in the conflict since 2016, so since the beginning of the conflict. However, this might likely be a gross undercount because many incidents, they just go underreported. So according to our research, we have documented 57 incidents resulting in the killing of over 1,800 civilians by both parties to the conflict. Of these 1,800 people, 1,200 were killed by security forces and VDPs. The first one is that we couldn't possibly document every single incident, and the second one is that security forces and allied militias, the VDPs, appear to be more brutal and violent than JNIM when they conduct their counterinsurgency operations. Also, this could well be a regional trend because in Mali, for example, ACLED has documented that security forces were responsible for more killings of civilians than armed Islamist groups. So this is not probably just isolated anomaly, but it's more like a regional pattern with many questions being raised here and concerns regarding the conduct and discipline of the military forces. First of all, because military abuse undermines state legitimacy. So, for example, when the military, which is supposed to protect the population, becomes a source of violence, then the community immediately loses trust in the state institutions, and this also weakens the relation and the necessary cooperation between civilians and state institutions, which is important in counterinsurgency efforts, for example, on sharing intelligence or putting in place early warning systems. In Burkina Faso non credo che mi fanno entrare. Sì. No, parto domani per Parigi, è lì che... Secondly, military abuse also creates a cycle of grievances, frustrations, and resentment, especially among the most affected communities. In this case, for example, in the case of Burkina Faso, the Fulani community, which can fuel recruitment into the ranks of the Islamist armed groups, which are actually surfing and exploiting this kind of military abuse for their propaganda.
Jangoɓe ko gettu def jangoɓe école men